Whatever makes
I
you
like it.
happy.
Whatever. So it's funny. Every once in a while, I'll have like a nice long conversation with people behind the scenes, in a green room. And of course, my guest today on the Hobby with Cage, episode 11, is PC Sports Cards, Josh. And we start talking about cards a little bit, and I start asking about like, oh, why should I send you a card, and what's your fees? And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, let me hit record, and I get all this stuff out there because the questions I have are going to be the questions that everybody has about there. So that was a nice 30-second intro. Welcome to the Hobby with Cage, Josh. How you doing, PC Sports Cards?
I'm doing great. It only took me 4 months of harassing you to get on the show again. I guess I don't make you laugh. I don't make you smile. I don't make you feel good about yourself.
Listen, this is a good guy right here, guys. So for the folks who only listen for the first 7 minutes, because now I'm paying attention. I'm a solo act. I gotta pay attention to like my retention rates.
Oh boy.
Really quick. Tell the folks out there with the crappy attention spans who you are, what you do, and where they can find you. And I'll do it again at the end, I promise.
Okay, cool. I'm Josh. My partner is Zach. We own a company called PC Sports Cards. We're PSA's biggest customer worldwide. We send more cards to them than anybody else. Last year, I think we got about 200,000 cards back from them out of the 11 million that they sent out. We're also one of the 3 or 4 biggest consignment companies on eBay. We were the first people ever to do grading to consignment, and then it's been copied by a couple other places where you can send us your cards for grading. We could sell them on consignment and use that balance to pay for the grading itself, so there's no extra money out of pocket. And everything's tracked seamlessly through our website, pcsportscards.com.
All right. So in case you missed any of that, guys, last year alone, they sent 200,000 PSA card returns. 183,000 of them came back 5s. I'm just kidding. But there's a lot more 5s now. No, but so, I mean, I just want to get the, the fine print out of the way here. I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by PC Sports Cards. He didn't give me $1 to come on this show. As a matter of fact, this will be a fun episode because I've never actually sent him a card, which is going to change hopefully that'll change today. There you go. And that basically is why I bring him on. If Rick Probstein wants to come on, I'll have Rick on also. Any other consigners want to come on, we'll have like a battle of the consigners. I'll actually get a cage going. You guys can fight. I can get now, Josh. So,
I can guarantee that if you put any other consignment company in a tag team match against me and Zach, they'd have absolutely no chance.
I mean, Rick is a solo act. You never know who's going to bring in as his tag.
He could bring whoever he wants.
Like, Ric Flair. You never know. You never know what might happen. No, but so it's funny because consignment it's a big deal, and there are. I mean, you started it off. You're huge. You were the first one to do the grade to consign model, but there are no shortages of places to go. And I'll tell you, especially last year into this year, I've gotten a lot of questions from a lot of people who listen to this. Hey, I want to sell some cards. Where would you do it? I've gotten a lot recently because I did an episode last week talking about kind of taking stock in your collection, auditing your collection, and going and selling the cards that fit in one stack that are not like, I need to have these cards, and then using the money from that to buy those cards that you make a list for. These are the cards that I want. So This is a timely episode because people who listened to that will now hear about you and the services. So your elevator pitch, as we like to call it in the industry. We're in an elevator. The 30 seconds, right? I would hit on the tech. Tell me about the service that you guys provide, right? Like, how does it start? Someone sends you the cards, and then walk me through how it works, because that I think is the differentiator between consigners.
That's huge for us. And we were the first company to actually spend, we developed the website, and then we spent a lot of money between 2021 and today to improve the new website. And we did it because we were spending so much time answering the same question over and over again, and we wanted to provide a better service to our customers. So we invested in our business, right? Pretty straightforward. When you send us a card, whether it's for grading or consignment, you'll get emails when the cards get here that we got them, when we check them in to confirm that they're the same cards. With consignment, you don't have to send us a list, but if you do, we're going to check every card to make sure it's there. So we say, you sent us these 13 cards. We have these 13 cards. Great. If you don't, we're going to say, hey, this is missing, right? We want everybody to be protected and feel comfortable however they want to. You'll get emails for the consignment side, when a card goes up for sale, and when it's sold, and you have a portal where you can see all of your sales, how much money you made, how much money is available to you anytime. For grading, you'll get an email when we get the card, and then every step of like the Domino's pizza tracker that you get with a PSA order, you get an email saying your cards have moved to assembly, your cards have moved to grading QA1, your cards have moved to QA2, your grades are available. Do you want to consign cards? Do you want to pay for the cards? Do you want to split it up, pick whatever cards? And it's all like a checkbox process.
Right.
We went also as far with some of this stuff, like the grading consignment, to do how-to videos on our YouTube channel to show people how they could do it. Again, because if you're asking and you're asking and you're asking, other people aren't asking, but they have the same question. So we want to make it so we're providing all the information for anybody that wants it.
All on the website. And what is the website?
PCSportscards.com.
Wow, that's a tough one. I would have had a hard time guessing that one, right? PCSportscards.com. All right. So
one other cool thing is that if you do it right and you're reporting your taxes, you can export your entire sales based on dates. So say your accountant says, hey, I need your sales for 2022. 5 seconds later, you have an exported list of everything that's all recorded there, what you sold it for, when you sold it, and you got paid, so you can give your accountant your taxes.
I mean, it makes sense. So I got a question for you. People who are listening to this now thinking, all right, maybe I'll try them out. One, can you sell raw? Yes. Or if I send you a raw card, does it have to go and get graded first?
You can sell raw. We could sell raw. If you're sending us a raw card that has a flaw that you know of, like a major flaw. I'm not talking like it's got a print line. I'm saying it has a bent corner. It has a crease in the back of it. It has a bend in the card. You must disclose that to us so we can then disclose it to the buyer. Mm-hmm. We look over cards generally, but if we're listing 5,000, 6,000 cards a week, we're not going to see every detail in every single card because we're a processing factory. We want to get those cards up within 1 week of getting them so you can get paid as fast as possible. So if you don't disclose it and there is an issue, that's on you in the long run when they return it, right?
All right. And on the website is your fee schedule. It's competitive.
It's competitive. Yes, very competitive.
And it's basically you're getting it in, hopefully listing it within a week, and it's going up on eBay.
It is going up on eBay. We get it in. It gets up usually within like 3 days at this point, 3 business days at this point, but we'll say a week. One thing we also do that I don't think any of the other consigners do is every week we curate cards that we either think are very cool that might not be super expensive or anything over $500 that we know is going to be over $500. We put those in a high-end auction that actually runs 10 days. So it runs from Thursday to Sunday instead of just a normal 5 or 7 day listing. So you get 2 weekends of exposure. We also post about it on Instagram. We send daily emails about auctions that are ending. So we're promoting everything that's coming through so you get more eyes on it. Another obvious big benefit is a lot of people take advantage of the combined shipping. They do that with all the big consigners, really, right? You buy one card and all of a sudden your $7 card now sells for $10 because somebody's buying something else with it and it only costs them an extra 50 cents in shipping instead of some smaller company that doesn't get that many items up.
All right. I mean, listen, there's value in that, right? The combined shipping, folks are going to pay a couple more bucks for your lower end stuff just to add it in. So one question, right? Because sometimes we take this stuff for granted, right? You know, we talk hobby all the time. There are words used in the hobby. They're kind of, you know, we're coming and having like an expert conversation. And sometimes I forget there are people out there who, you know, came in the hobby last year. They might be breaking cards. They might have a bunch of raw cards at home. They might have graded some stuff themselves, and they've never used a consignor before. And I start off by saying, okay, give me why your consignment is the one they should choose. But I think it's probably valuable. Why consignment at all? Like, why not, you know, for the person out there who has some cards and they think about selling them, why not have them just list it themselves on eBay? What is it that you bring to the table that they can't do? Why is it a better experience to go with a consignor like you than to just try to sell it yourself?
So first and foremost, you don't have to do any of the work and you're getting roughly the same, if not more money, right? For like worst case scenario, it costs you like 2 or 3% on under $100 cards to use a consignor. Right. So what's your time worth, right? The second thing, like we were just talking about, is the combined shipping. If you're selling 7 cards and you're adding $4.50 of shipping, those sales would be less than if somebody's selling 4,000 or 5,000 cards in a week, where people have a week to combine listings, where they could say, okay, I want these cards, but I also want this, this, and this, and I won one already. So I don't know about you, Cage, and I don't know about everybody out there, but when I'm buying a card, I look at a card and say, I'm willing to pay X dollars out of my pocket for it, right? So if there's $5 shipping and I'm willing to pay $15, I'm only willing to pay $10 for that card. If I want something else, I'm now willing to pay $14.50 plus the 50-cent shipping for the card. So that's going to really come into play when you're only selling 7 or 8 or 9 things and you don't get customers that are taking advantage of that.
Right. Not to mention, I would think, there's going to be more eyeballs on your listing.
Sure.
So even that 2% under $100 is probably going to be made up for, if not, and then some, by the fact that people are seeing your stuff because they're looking for combined shipping items, or because they have you as a saved seller, and you're doing additional promo on your Instagram page about your cards and about your stuff. There are people who, who will say, oh, look at these cards, and it's directing more eyeballs to it. Yeah. Right.
100%.
So, I mean, for those people who are out there who have never done consignment, there you go. There's the reason why. I will tell folks, I mean, I've been on eBay since 1998, and that thing that I just mentioned, I use consigners for that reason. And sure, I'll send a bunch of cards out, even ones where if I sold it myself, I probably would get, 12%, 13% when it's eBay and PayPal and all that stuff. And I may be paying a consigner 15% on it when it's all said and done for really cheap cards. Yeah. But all I had to do was take it and put it in a box and mail it. You know what I mean? I didn't have to
put 100 cards in a box.
Yeah, I did. I mean, my last one, I sent 200 cards. Done. Here you go, in a box. Goodbye. I didn't have to, I'd have to do anything with it. You know what I mean? I have to just, here you go. Here's my bank account, basically. You know what I mean? Here's my account. Here's my everything. When it's all done, just please send me the money. Kind of ease. Not to mention, even if I didn't do that, it's, I would have to list it myself. I have to look up what the card is. I have to put it on my account, take a picture of it, which is probably crappy because I got my iPhone and I'm like, why is there a glare? And I'm sure you guys have some fancy cameras there. Oh, he's sliding off screen. I'm going to get, look at that.
Everything's actually taken with mirrorless cameras.
Mirrorless
DSLR cameras. Yeah. I'm into photography, so when there's one way to do it, I'm what my wife says, I'm extra.
All right, that's cool.
So if it's like, so I just do it a little bit better than everybody else.
I do extra on my eBay listings too, but my extra is I just make sure that you can see a part of my foot when I'm taking a picture of it. Like I always have my foot somewhere in the picture when I list this to myself. Is that what you do with your mirrorless camera? Get your toes in it.
Make sure we get a reflection. One thing you said though, Cage. One thing you said that I want to touch on is you said that you just want your money back, right? The cool thing with us is that you can, instead of taking your money back and paying taxes on it, you could use that money to pay for a grading submission. You could find something on our eBay that you want to buy and say, oh, I have $400 of credit. This is $300. I'm going to buy it and email PC Sportscards, and they're just going to take it out of my account, and I'll use that money to buy something else that I want. Right. So there's other things you could do with the money other than just, get money into your bank account.
You can maintain a balance on your PC sports account, basically. Yeah. And, if you sell 5, I mean, it's a good way of churning your collection. And for the folks who listened to last week's episode about selling your stuff and then buying, it's not the worst thing in the world. You'll know how much you have. You can build up a credit at PC Cards. And if one of your 10 cards that you want to have comes up for sale, boom, you already have the money sitting there waiting, in the account to kind of basically effectuate a trade with you as the middleman, selling and buying. So I like that.
We have some customers that are like, oh, can you, like some eBay buyers that are like, oh, do you want to trade? Can I trade for this card? I'm like, you can't trade, but if you send us cards on consignment, you can build up your balance to then pay for that card. We have a lot of people that actually take advantage of that.
Do they do it ahead of time? Like, is there a way to do that? Like,
you can, because you could sell whenever you want. So you could just say, I want to keep $2,000 at PC Sportscards or whatever to use whenever you want to. Or some people,
what I'm saying. Somebody contacts you. There's a $500 card that they're selling on eBay. They want to buy it, and they said, "Hey, I got $1,000 worth of cards. I'm trade you for it." Are they able to buy that card for $500 and then send you $1,000 worth of cards for consignment?
If it's somebody that we've done business with before, we could do something like that.
Interesting. Right? So it's sort of like pay with consignment. It's almost
because
like
we're not shipping you the card until your balance is positive, right? So you're gonna if you do that, we're gonna then say, okay, cool, this card is yours. We're gonna hold it for you. We'll get your cards in, and once your balance is positive, if we don't receive cards from you in a week or so, we're gonna say, hey, did you actually send those cards, or are we relisting this card just like any other unpaid item?
Yep.
Right. So we're not getting rid of the card. We have the collateral. We had somebody come in yesterday and drop off some amazing cards for grading. And then consignment, he's like, do I give you a credit card right now? I'm like, no, you just gave me $100,000 worth of cards. I don't care. Disappear. Please disappear. Like,
please disappear. All right. I mean, it begs the next question. What's the coolest thing you've ever got to held for consignment? What's the coolest card that's ever come across your desk that you were selling? You ever sell a Wagner? No, I'm just playing.
No, I mean,
it doesn't have to be the most expensive. I mean,
the coolest card that we've ever gotten in.
Come on, this is the first time you ever.
So, I mean, we don't get asked this question a lot. There's a lot of cool cards that come in. The coolest card in the hobby that we've ever really done deals around was the Luca Logo Man. So we were the first people to buy it for one of our customers and then resell it for that customer. So we were the first 2 transactions on that card. So that's pretty cool. That's a hobby relevant card, no matter what.
And that's because you have, business connections in there. The person comes into you to broker a deal.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen or worked with all those cards. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Full service. And I just thought you were just, this weird, Long Island dude who's,
weird.
Yeah,
weird.
I mean, look at you. I just thought weird. But no, you're actually a smart guy. Look at you, brokering deals.
Don't tell anybody.
That's it. You like to sneak up on them. You sneak up on
Zach was the one that actually made that whole thing happen. Zach flew down to Florida to get the card, and then flew out to Arizona with the card.
Wow, on a private jet with Netflix cameras?
Unfortunately, no private jet.
No private jet. No private. Do you have your own bathroom there? And is Zach allowed to use it?
We don't have our own bathroom. We're in like a medical building. It's all Northwell Health here and PC Sportscards and White's in Luxembourg right next door, just in case something goes wrong.
No, in case you had an exposure, in case you had asbestos exposure at all. I think they might have moved on to 9/11 cases too. White's in Luxembourg. I know those guys, but I mean, not a bad firm, believe it or not. So yeah, all right. So I mean, it's tough to get more than, a 20-minute commercial about consignments. You don't want to talk about the cool cards that you're out there, that you're out there doing. So you could talk about consignments forever.
We got in yesterday in this collection.
This is what I want to hear.
So we got in like a LeBron EX of 102 rookie,
cool.
a bunch of Kobe rookies, some Kobe autos, a Jordan rookie in there. We get in some really, really cool stuff all the time, right? You sort of get immune to cards at some point, right? Like,
yeah, no, but listen, as a I mean, not every card comes across your desk specifically. You have, I'm sure, an assembly line. Have you seen an uptick in basketball now with the playoffs? Are more people sending you LeBrons that you know of? Is there something that's sticking out now? Like last week, did you get more Rui Hachimuras than you knew what to do with as a consigner? That's the kind of stuff I think is interesting.
We've been getting more baseball for grading now, right? I focus more on the grading side of it. That's what I see more of because I do like all the reveal videos on YouTube and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So we're starting to get more baseball back, and we're starting to see obviously like when a new release comes out, that's what you get. So we're getting like Prism, we're getting Bowman, we're getting all that stuff in, and people will fly through that, and then the next product will come out. So it's really like we are also getting still, even though we're more expensive now than PSA's cheapest level, we're still getting the same 1,500, 1,800, 2,200 cards a week with PSA, right? Our numbers for consignment are going up. More people are selling cards right now, right?
Yep.
But more people are also buying them. So it's the market is in actually I think it's in a really good place.
Because you're seeing more participants in it, more sellers, but also more buyers.
Yeah, I think, and I've said this for a long time, the problem with the market is overproduction. Anything from 2018 to 2022, 23, there's just too much of it. If you look at products made prior to 2018, it was way less than it is now. And I think we're starting to see that go down. We're starting to see that tick. Hell
Right.
yeah.
That's interesting. So, I mean, listen, I was expecting you to tell me that you opened your mail today and 9 out of 10 packages was Lonnie Walker, the fourth, but it's okay. It's what happens. But I'm going to pivot now.
If I had to open the packages, I'd be in be in trouble,
Come on. You have to wear all the hats every once in a while. You got to go down to the mail room and open up the packages. That's cool. That's fun stuff. I know you're sitting in the ivory tower in the medical building now on high, looking down at the people who actually have to open the mail for you.
You want to see hold on, give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab a deal that we just bought. Right.
All right.
I'll show you this.
We just bought. I mean, that's cool.
Right?
I'm trying to look at the helmets we got going on over here. That's pretty cool. Looks like
all ASU. It's
yeah,
all ASU.
it looks like little Aztec stuff over there.
No, Sun Devils. Right?
Sun Devils.
But like this
ASU, you said. Okay.
Yeah. So I get excited about lower end. This was all $250. You know what I'm going to do with all this?
Grade them all.
I'm going to evaluate it. I'm going to grade it. And I'm going to turn it into $1,000 or $1,500, and it'll be great. I care more about that. That's more fun for me. That's more fun.
So speaking of having fun, all right, I want to direct the people listening to this now who are still with us to some of the content that you're making. Let's talk about that, right? You're making some content on YouTube. It's a little different than some of the content that's out there. Can you talk about that a little bit and, make sure that people know where to find it and why? I think you tell me why it's different, what makes it different than some of the other stuff that's being put out there.
So it's on YouTube. It's PC_Sportscards on YouTube. If you go to any of our social, you can find it on Instagram. There's a link in Linktree, I think.
Linktree,
I set that up the right way.
You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did that.
Nice. I still need to do that, but I have nothing to link to. So it
takes
good.
No time, and it took me 4 months to do it. I don't know why. One thing that we believe in is that there's still ways to make money in the hobby. We see a lot of negative stuff out there that the hobby's dying and all this other stuff going on, but that's not true. Well, the prices are going down, but you could still make money. And I'm not saying make money so you could retire or whatever. What we do is we give you financial information about buying lower end cards or middle range cards or whatever, grading them and turning them into money to first and foremost, buy stuff that you want to own, right? Like use whatever you can to make that money to buy the stuff that you want to own. And we give you really deep information about percentages of getting a card graded, how to look over a card. We think that a lot of people charge you for information that we want to give away because you being smarter in the hobby and then you helping other people get smarter in the hobby makes the hobby more approachable. When you have somebody that's trying to take advantage of other people and make $1 off of taking advantage, I just think that's messed up.
So
right?
A good example, guys, what Josh is talking about. He just flashed a stack of cards above $250 and immediately was like, I'm going to evaluate these now. I'm going to look them over. I'm going to grade them. I'm going to turn this into $1,000. All right. That's a good video. That's good content. It's the kind of content that's not out there enough because instead, what sells is sensational stuff. Me writing about fanatics is going to make people have to break on fanatics. And if you want that, it's a headline and people click on it.
For sure.
But what's funny, I think what brought a lot of people to the hobby during this most recent run-up was they had a lot of free time. And people were talking about, garage sale flipping and, finding a way to buy something and sell it for more. And I know a lot of collectors don't like that, right? And a lot of collectors think that those flippers are bad for the hobby. But I'm going to tell you that I love that there's both. And I love that your content out there, might be able to show somebody to turn that $250 into $1,000. And if they do that enough times, then guess what happens, collectors? That person now has $5,000 or $10,000 to spend on one of your PMG's collectors, right? Right. Yeah. So you, collector, are getting the benefit of them flipping and buying a card that they can collect. And they wouldn't have been able to buy that card and bolster the value of your collector cards had they not learned how to flip it, had they not done that and build their bankroll up doing it that way. So I think there's like it's symbiotic in a way, right?
Yeah. The only way the market goes up is if people enjoy and spend time and money in the hobby, right? Yeah. That's pretty obvious, I think. I know we talked about this a couple of days ago when we were on the phone. We started something called the $1,000 challenge at the end of February, where we're buying singles. And the way that I'm doing it, and we're doing it, Zach's doing it also, is we're using our services, but we're using it as if we were you. We're using it as if we were a customer. So I'm charging myself the same rate that I would charge you as a customer, recording it all on a spreadsheet, which is shareable to you. So you could take the same spreadsheet and do the same thing. And I'm going to show you the cards that we bought, do a review. I did a 7-card review today that's going to be posted later on YouTube. Then I show the results where they came back. I put it all together so you can see what I saw in the card and the result. And then we make a video showing you the return that we got from those cards. So you literally see the entire life cycle of it. The first video that I did of a return was 2 orders combined. I think it was like 13 cards. And it was a 64-ish% ROI in 2 months. So without compounding and without anything else, if it just multiply that times 6, which was 2 months, you're looking at 380% annually. So 1,000 would become 3,800 plus 1,000, $4,800, right? If I just use that $1,000 over again, the benefit is you compound, you put the money back in because you don't need the money. If you don't need the money, right? If you need the money, obviously it's different. But we had one card that we had, no joke, a 530% return on one card.
Wow.
You know
buying it raw, grading it.
Do you know how much that card costs raw?
I'm going to say it cost $11.
Divided by 4.
Wow. So
$2.75.
$2.49
$2.49 raw.
Wow.
Sold for $130 on eBay. Net $111 after fees.
Was it a Devontae Graham?
I'll give you 2 more guesses.
I'm trying to think what could have had that kind of exponential return. Maybe an Ohtani? No.
He's a
Jordan Walker.
Nope.
That would have. I mean, he's on a tear. I mean,
this
you can be surprised. I even know who that is.
Jordan Walker's in the mind. They sent him down.
I know.
It was.
Come on. I'm trying to make people laugh here.
2016 Topps Chrome first pitch George Bush.
Oh, okay. Who sold that for $2? That's nice. I like that.
It's a $2.50 card. It's an insert. You could probably buy it on Sports Slots for 30 cents.
But you found one that looked like a 10.
Zach actually found one in the office that was sitting around and graded it, and we sold it for $100. And then I'm like, oh, you sold that for $100. I bet we can get a little bit more than that because it's sold within like 12 hours of you listing it. So I found one on eBay, bought it, got a 10, $130.
There you go.
Insane.
So now you're buying them all up.
No, I'm not buying anymore. But I think that after I posted the video, there were a few for like $10 to $12. I think they're all off of eBay now. I think everybody's buying them.
But this is what happens, right? But
sure.
I mean, the thing about it,
and there's going to be diminishing returns, right? Not everybody's going to pay $130.
Yeah.
Right. But we're gonna share it all with you.
But the thing is, I mean, and I hope I watch some of your content, and I hope your content continues to do this. And I say it all the time, right? Like I can tell you what I bought and what I sold and why and the whole deal. But the learning there is not that specific card. It's the process, right? And you're actually showing the whole process and maybe go into why you picked that particular card, why that one's got some value, why that card, when it's graded. And then hopefully the people who are watching that don't just go immediately and buy that same card, but they think about another 5 or 8 different cards that are the same type of $2, $5, $8 card that can be graded and flipped for more,
What's funny is a lot of companies are actually giving you that information. You just don't know they're giving it to you.
Yep.
Right. So like PSA is telling you the most graded cards. You know what people are looking for. MySlabs is giving you the most popular search terms on their website every single month, the top 10. You know what people are searching for. Those are the names you need to buy. Do you need to know a product? Sure. Buy something shiny. It's easier to grade. Don't buy paper cards. They're harder to grade. Right. But I'm not saying that if you want to collect it, buy whatever you want, right? If it's something you want to own, buy whatever you want. If you're doing it to make money to do that, you can grade a 2021 Mosaic whatever and triple your money on it. That costs you $10 instead of buying a 1991 Jordan Fleer card that costs you the same amount that has 12% chance of getting a 10, get a card that has an 80% chance of getting a 10, yep. Right? Like just math.
I mean, and you're sharing all that stuff on YouTube. It's kind of like, give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a
100%.
man to fish, and he's just going to smell really bad for the rest of his life. So I get it. I mean, it's kind of the way that it goes, man. But listen, it's helpful, and it's fun stuff. And I mean, what you're saying here is, it compounds over time. There's ways to do this. Don't get greedy. Find that small win and repeat it over and over and over again, right?
And also, don't be afraid to take a loss, right? Because if you just sit on a card forever, it could potentially go down more, right? The velocity of the sale is almost as important, right?
Yep.
If you know it's not going to grade, like anything that I get that's not going to grade, I list on eBay, either an auction or fixed price, and I put a note. This will not get a PSA 10 because of this reason, right? Because I'm like I treat it like I'm my customer. If my customer doesn't disclose that, why should I? Right?
By the way, think about that as a service. You're basically cleaning up eBay because you're buying all these cards that the original seller is listing, and you're thinking you're going to get a 10 on it. You get it, you review it and say, there's no way this is a 10. And now we're relisting it saying, it's probably not going to get a 10, guys. It's pretty funny.
I don't realistically think, I think that you could get 40 to 60% of the cards on eBay that you buy have a shot at a 10, which is a reasonable number because a lot of people they sell what they don't think is going to grade. One thing I don't love is people charging you to look over your cards. I know StarStock, when they were around, like they boasted about this thing where they're like, oh, 92% of our StarStock A is a 9 or better. 92% of ultra modern cards that get submitted are a 9 or better, right? You can normally see when something's not going to get a 9.
Yep.
The hard part is differentiating between a 9 and a 10, and it's something you could learn. I think I said this the last time I was on the show, and I think you actually pulled a clip of it. One thing we used to do when grading was $6 to $8 was we would buy raw cards and send them in and take notes and learn what they were going to grade. Now, one thing that we tell people to do is buy a PSA 9, buy a PSA 8, buy a PSA 10 for under $10, crack it and look it over and learn why it got that grade, or learn what your variance, what's allowed to get a 10. You could reverse engineer it instead of just buying the card to send in to figure it out. You have to invest in yourself, though.
Or just buy a bunch of 5s, resubmit them, and get a bunch of 9s back.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. That happens.
It does. It happens. I've done it.
100%.
I've done it.
I mean, it happened. I mean, I'll tell you, I bought a couple of Jordan Loves that the person said, oh, these have this issue. And I'm like, that issue doesn't mean anything for grading. It's just something that you see in your eye, and they got a 10, right? And that $40 card I sold for $200 because I actually got it back right before he got traded.
There you go. I mean, this is the interesting stuff. Well, listen, I love you guys. Check them out. PC Sports Cards. It's PC_sportscards on IG, and on YouTube. It's PCSportscards.com for the webpage. Take a look, give it a spin. I'm going to send them some cards. I'm going to go pack some up right now. Give it a try. Yeah. I'll let you know in a solo episode whether or not they suck. But I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to suck. But I don't put my own name down as the consigner when I'm first time do it. I write John Jones sometimes. I pick UFC fighters as who is consigning.
You could change your name as many times as you want, but you could only use the email address once.
All right. Well, johnjones@gmail.com gets used a lot. I do own that email address. But no, so, I mean, I appreciate you coming on. Listen, it's tough sometimes to kind of defend your business, and why should I use this guy? But I mean, you make a good argument for it. I mean, I will tell you, a lot of folks in the space don't have the tech that you have. And if you want something that's an ease of use, you go on the website. It's very easy. The process is there. It's pretty easy and straightforward to send the cards in. That alone is worth trying you out. Thanks for coming on.
Kiss method. The KISS method.
The KISS method, right? Keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. Stupid. That's what my dad said. You're not supposed to be, say that, but that's what he told me. I don't know what the second S is. It's not stupid.
Silly.
He had
Silly
me
is
pegged.
the political correct way.
He had me pegged. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. Stupid was my name until I was 5, and I realized that wasn't actually my name. It was idiot. All right. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much, everybody. That's another episode.